Welcome again to Cooking at the Lake. I'm Mary Jane Warner, and we're here again in my home. And today we're so lucky because Maureen Smith is joining us, and she's going to show us a fabulous new recipe. Maureen, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So glad to be here and happy that we're going to do this recipe that I've been meaning to do here at the lake for quite some time. It's one of our summertime or warm weather favorites. It's an Ina Garten recipe, which isn't a surprise to a lot of our friends because she's my favorite chef. What we're going to do is roasted shrimp in the oven, quick and easy, with orzo rice and some feta cheese and some veggies.
Oh, that sounds really good.
It's very easy, and it's warm weather favorite because it doesn't have to be cold, shouldn't be hot. Room temperature is perfect.
Fantastic. And how do you start this recipe? What's the first thing that you do?
Well, the first thing we do is we cook up the orzo.
Okay.
That takes about 10 minutes. And a lot of people don't know that much about orzo rice. It looks...
I can't say I do.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like rice, but it's actually a pasta.
Wow. And you got it from Wegmans. I love Wegmans.
Yes. I'm not sure if Food Lion carries it.
Okay.
But...
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks,
it's
looks
like
more
rice.
like rice
yes.
than it does pasta, but it puffs up when it gets cooking in the recipe.
So we're going to put that in the boiling water. We've got some water boiling already, which is always wonderful. Oh, let's stir that a little bit too, so we can make sure it doesn't get too sticky on the bottom. There you go.
It's always a good idea to put a little. We've already put a little salt in the water.
Okay, sounds good.
And
it's kind of neat the way it fluffs up a little bit.
Yep, it's terrific because you get about a cup of that, and it's going to balloon up into it's going to fill this bowl, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get going on this recipe? Did you just see it?
I watch the Food Network a lot,
yeah.
and like I said, I love Ina Garten because her favorite thing is how easy is that. So I love easy.
Well, I love the way she does her tables, and that's so nice. And she brings things out of the garden, and she always looks so nice in her crisp white shirts and everything.
Yeah.
I just think she's just a delight, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, so what do we do next?
So what we're going to do is cut up some of these vegetables.
Okay.
We've got scallions.
Oh, yeah.
And what we're going to do is just cut them into chunks. Some of these are a little bit chunkier, so I'll cut them a little bit lengthways first.
And if I can help, you just let me know.
Yeah.
Now you've lived a lot of different places, but one of the things that fascinates me is that you and Steve did that talk about living in San Francisco. How was that? What brought you to San Francisco when you moved there?
Well, I moved to San Francisco after going on vacation with a couple of girlfriends. I was working for IBM at the time in Westchester County in New York, and we went to visit. We went from Northern California, San Francisco, down to Yosemite, and then down to Los Angeles.
Wow.
I just fell in love with it. So after that vacation, I started thinking about moving permanently there. And actually, some of the people that I talked to, I worked in a software department. So some of the people I talked to were interested. They were in Palo Alto, California. They were interested in getting me, recruiting me, and so they made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Oh, lovely.
And one of the people that I used to talk to was Steve.
Oh, Steve, her husband.
Was another IBMer in Los Angeles. And when I told him that I was going to be moving, he said, well, why not LA? And I said,
why not?
Because there's no wine country in LA. So we...
what year was this? When did you move
1980.
there? Wow, so it was kind of before all the tech boom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we did... we handled a lot of Silicon Valley that's back in the day, much smaller. Some of the competitors to IBM, because they always tested the IBM software on their CPUs, on their hardware.
Oh, see.
So they wanted my knowledge from my previous life.
Isn't it nice that they wanted it in the location that you wanted to live in?
Oh, it's just incredible.
Oh, that hardly ever happens.
I know. So we're very fortunate that I moved there, and there were a couple of other ladies that I got befriended me and took me in, and it was just a really great opportunity. And at one point in time at an IBM event, I finally met Steve face to face.
Wow, wow. Was it love at first sight?
For me, it was.
Oh, that's all that counts. It's
That's
the
right,
woman that leads things.
right,
So,
right.
That's great.
So about a year later, we got married,
Oh.
and then he transferred up to San Francisco, and we worked up there in various capacities for almost a little over 20 years.
Wow. Now, what's the next step on the recipe? Because I don't want to
Okay.
hold you up, but I'm fascinated about San Francisco. So there'll be lots of San Francisco questions, okay?
So we're done with dicing, or
Okay.
all these are rough chop, which
Okay.
I love. So
and I'm going to stir the orzo a little
Okay.
bit more.
Now
just to
this is
make
a
sure.
hothouse cucumber, and it's supposed to doesn't supposedly have any seeds, but as you can see, it has a few. And I'm very seeds are not my friend as far as cucumbers are concerned. So I usually try and you go through down the bottom.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Try not to make too much of a mess.
You know, that's how you cream corn, too, is
Yeah,
you do it off
yeah.
the cob like that. So,
And then we'll cut it up at a couple of different angles. And
now, what surprised you when you moved to San Francisco? What were some of the surprising things living there?
it was more expensive. It still is. Always will
Yes,
be.
it's even more so now.
Yes. And but it was beautiful weather all the time.
Oh, really? Oh.
Lots of things to do. Our friends used to like to go tailgating at Stanford games and things like that. And there's lots of attractions in San Francisco at the wharf and et cetera, et cetera. But mostly it was just one of those things where, you know, around here you have to plan for a rain date, and you don't do that out there because there's no rain. There's a reason they had droughts all the time.
Well, that's so surprising to me because I think of it as a rainy, misty place, you know?
Well, in summertime it's foggy, and their rainy season is from January to about March.
Wow.
But it hasn't been raining all that much, although this year they had a really good year with some snow up in Tahoe.
Oh, that's
so
good.
they
'Cause
should
of
have
skiing, yeah.
So,
Wow. Well, you and Steve did the little, at Newcomers, they did a talk about where to go and all kinds of attractions and things that you should never leave home without, which was a windbreaker kind of hoodie and a bottle of water. That was the big, those are the two things I remember.
Because we lived in Fremont, which is on the East Bay, and it could be 80 degrees like it is up today, and you go up to San Francisco, it'd be 54.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
With the fog and things like that. So you always carry a jacket and things like that.
Okay.
And then you go back up to the wine country, and the wine country would be, you know, in the mid 70s or 80 degrees, perfect picnicking weather. And
wow.
it was just wonderful.
Wow.
It was hard to leave.
I'll bet. What are we doing next?
All right, so and I'm going to let you help me do this.
Okay.
We're going to squeeze some orange juice, or some lemon juice, excuse me, into this.
Okay.
And this is one of
Lovely.
my best tools ever.
So am I doing it right like
Nope,
that?
you put
No?
this
See?
on the outside.
Really? Interesting. Do you need, you don't need that many mussels for it either. Oh, right up my alley. Oh, love it. I haven't ever used one of these.
Oh, they're great.
Look at that. Fantastic.
Okay, and you just pop that one out. We'll put it back in
Okay.
here and
Do another
put the
one.
next one in.
Okay, thank you, Maureen.
There we go.
Well, what brought you to the lake here?
Well, we actually got an opportunity to move to Danbury, Connecticut, with IBM. It's after Steve retired, we moved to Danbury, and I had a job in Southbury, Connecticut, and we lived in a house we rented for a while because it was supposed to be a 2-year assignment. We rented for 2 years, then there was no there for me to go back to. In other words, my job went away or went to Phoenix, Arizona.
I see.
And I said, no, thank you to Phoenix, Arizona. So we wound up buying a home there, and we loved lake living. So we decided, and then we got an opportunity, I got an opportunity to retire. And we moved back to San Francisco to work for an IBM business partner. And we did that for another 8 years and decided if we were going to move out of California and retire, what we should do is look for a place near a lake because we loved lake living. So we looked at we looked at Smith Mountain Lake,
Oh, yes, yes, that's nice too.
and we just decided that was a little bit too rural.
Yeah.
A little too far.
There's no synergy.
Yeah,
you know?
and it was a matter of when we were living in California, we thought if we were going to retire, we'd like to retire near a university, near a college.
Oh, yeah.
There's always something going on, always good
Speakers.
restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we were very interested in that, and somebody said, well, you know, we were also thinking about Lake Anna.
Uh-huh.
And we thought, before we looked at that, somebody said, well, even closer to Charlottesville, near UVA, there's Lake Monticello. And we came here and looked around with the realtor, and that was it. Fell in
I
love.
know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's a great place to. Now, what are you doing with this onion?
Okay, we're just going to slice it up a little bit.
Okay.
So we have 2 different types of onions, some cucumber. We'll have some feta cheese, and
Ooh, it's really coming together now.
Yeah. And once we get the orzo going, what we'll do.
Stir that a little bit here for us. You don't have to do that. I guess I'm just OCD and
That's
like
right.
to stir it. So, what can you do?
So you just have, there's a lot of chopping involved here, but
Yes,
you
that's
know.
fine. Now, well, you've really dove in too at the lake here. I mean, I see you're wearing your shirt. So the foundation. Tell me a little bit more about the foundation.
Well, it gets started. The backstory is that it got started after like LMOA meeting, in which we were saying we're going to raise the dues again. And an elderly gentleman said, you know, I wouldn't mind donating if it was to a nonprofit. So Judy Fish and Nancy Parsons decided, well, you know, we could develop a nonprofit, which they did. And now we're in the midst of fundraising for different efforts we had last year. We had bought some tickets to the lake swimming pool, and we had some other efforts. We had our first annual shred day, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, I love the shred day.
Oh,
Last
so much
year,
fun, yeah.
I brought boxes and boxes and boxes because when you move, you know, you don't want to. You can't just throw away paper, and you know, it's just not something we could do. And so I had a lot of boxes packed of paper, and I went through them, and oh my goodness, it was so freeing.
Yes.
Half the garage, I could buy another car. I could put another car in the garage from all the shred. It was wonderful.
Well-
now, when is the shred day?
Well, we actually had another shred day yesterday.
No, I don't want
sorry.
to hear that. Oh, well, I don't have that much to shred.
No,
this
we
year,
had
so I'll do
we
that.
had a lot of fun as usual, and a lot of people were just very, very happy to have that. You know, we did it, quite frankly, you know, as close as we could at the fire department.
Oh, yeah.
We donate some of the proceeds to the fire department because they're nice enough to host us.
Yeah.
And this year we collected. I was trying to get my facts right. I think over 2,500 pounds of goods, and we collected $1,600 in donations. There's an awful lot of people. We're asking $10 for a bank box.
Yeah.
An awful lot of people would just give us a $20 bill, say keep the change.
But that's so nice. People are so sweet.
So after we paid the vendor, we made about $900, which is about $100 more than we made last year.
Wow.
So every year we improve a little bit.
Oh, that sounds great. And I hear y'all are raising money for a handicap playground. Is that right?
Yes. We decided that Lafayette Park was the best park to do because it was on an even grade. And what we're doing is we're teaming with the maintenance team here at the lake. They're going to do a lot of the groundwork to make it more level and things like that. We are buying a couple of pieces of equipment that are handicap accessible. And actually it was interesting that in learning a little bit more about this, it was interesting to find out that there are 30 some odd children and adults that have ability issues. And in the community, in the county here, there's over 500.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, and
that's great.
now people have asked, are people outside the lake going to have access to the lake? We are working with the board and with Steve Schauder to make that happen, whether it be a special decal or just go to either the turkey sack gate or go to the front gate.
Oh,
and
that's
get
a great
access.
idea. That's wonderful. Okay, back to your
right.
recipe.
Okay.
So we have done the onions, the cucumbers, and the scallions.
Yes.
Now what are we doing?
Now we're going to just double check on here and see how we're doing.
do you think? Okay.
All right, so the orzo has been going for about 9 or 10 minutes. And what you want is, as you can see, it's almost tripled in size. It's a nice consistency. And what you want is just like pasta, al dente.
Okay, great. Oh, good. Okay. You don't wonder if it's
Take
gonna
this
work.
to the colander
There you are. Get that?
and give yourself a facial.
Ah, I like that. And it helps the orchids too. They
Yes,
always like it
and
when
you
we.
do have gorgeous orchids.
Well, they're surprisingly amazing where they come back sometimes. So if you leave them alone. Oh, that looks nice.
All right,
Okay.
then we're going to throw it in
Okay,
here.
lovely. I'll take that from you.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry with that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So we've got orzo.
Oh,
in
it smells good.
Yeah.
I didn't know
And-
it had that kind of smell. That's
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
Mm.
And what we have in here is the 3 lemons. And what I'm going to do is add, that's a half a cup of lemon and a half a cup of good olive oil.
Okay.
I love the olive oil. It comes from Feast in Charlottesville.
Oh yeah, I love that store.
And they have all kinds of, this is Spanish olive oil. They have Italian, they have Greece.
Okay.
They have all kinds of,
And across the way from Feast is Spice Diva. Have you ever gone
Yes.
there? Oh wow,
Love
they
her
have
too. Love her
amazing
too.
spices. Lots of wonderful curries, barbecue rubs, all kinds of things.
okay, and in here I have just some kosher salt and some
Okay.
pepper.
All right.
Dump it in there. Stir some more.
Okay.
And then it's important that you put this on the pasta while it's still hot. So it
wow.
absorbs all that good flavor.
Oh my.
And it will also absorb all that oil.
You know, I think you're starting to talk like Ida. You know, when you say that. That's a good. Oh, that looks delicious
Yeah.
already. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So now what we're going to do is put some shrimp in to the oven.
Okay. Now, what kind of shrimp do you use?
All right. These I got at Food Lion, and they're the jumbo shrimp. I usually either do jumbo or whatever, extra large.
Okay.
The jumbo take about 6 minutes in an oven of 400 degrees. And it's very precisely 6 minutes for these really big guys. If you get the extra large, just shave off 1 minute.
Okay. All right.
But what I do is I wait until, they always have shrimp on, so it's frozen shrimp. And they have it on sale. Sometimes it's buy one, get one.
Oh,
and sometimes
lovely.
it's like, a package like this is usually $12 and they reduce it to like $7.99 or something like that. So we buy it on sale.
Okay. Always on sale. Good. Because it's frozen. You can just hold out and
Oh,
wait till you do
when
it,
it's on
you know?
sale, I throw it into the freezer and keep it until I need it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
All right,
and
so-
they look like this, which
Yep.
is great.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a nice big shrimp.
Yep, that's
All right,
our jumbo
lovely.
guys.
Okay.
And what I do is just put some olive oil and salt and pepper on it.
Now, when you defrost them, how do you defrost them? Do you put them in water to defrost? or
Well,
lay
if
them
I
out
think
on
about
paper
it,
towel?
yeah, if I think about it ahead of time, I'll do it overnight in the refrigerator.
Okay.
If not, what they suggest you do is put the whole bag in cold water, tepid water, because they
Okay.
said hot water kind of
Yeah,
makes
well-
them get mealy.
Yeah, and cook a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've noticed when you use frozen shrimp, it has a lot more water in it, you know.
Yes.
And like if you do French shrimp scampi and you just put the frozen shrimp right in there, there's a lot of water and it takes up a lot of the butter.
Yes, you
And-
mentioned paper towels. Paper
Yes.
towals are key for almost any protein. If you have to pat it dry when they tell you to pat dry your chicken or your beef, or it's really true to do with your shrimp as well.
And so on the shrimp you put the olive oil
Salt and
salt
pepper.
and pepper. Okay, and that's it.
And then we pop them in the oven for 6
Wow,
minutes.
well you do it. You're the
Okay.
star. So we're gonna open up the oven and be careful with your. Okay, and then we just close that. Just make
Okay.
sure we have these handy. Okay,
We have
great.
Timer,
Alexa, how long do you want?
6 minutes.
Alexa, set the timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
Okay, cool. See, I don't have an Alexa. I gotta,
Oh my
I
gosh!
gotta get me one, girl.
Oh, you do. The music alone is wonderful. So,
Okay, so now, so now we have our onions
oh,
go into the orzo.
yeah. Oh, it looks so colorful.
And our cucumbers. It's
I
beautiful.
love it.
And you could even add, if you wanted to, you could add some cherry tomatoes or something like that. Get a little red in there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
but a cucumber and the
I
red
like the way
onions.
that looks.
Yeah, the red
Oh my
onions.
gosh.
And then we're going to add the feta in just a few minutes.
Okay.
It tastes almost a little bit like a tzatziki sauce, a Greek tzatziki sauce.
yum.
Yeah, really good, really good. So we're going to let that all kind of sit and get
Okay.
to room temperature.
All right. I can see where the consistency is just so nice, and the more you stir, the more even it gets with the olive oil, and it really, really mixes well.
Yeah, this orzo rice is so easy to work with, as you saw. And there was, for those who remember getting newspapers delivered to the house, there used to be an insert called Parade magazine.
Oh yeah, I remember. Parade.
Well,
Loved it.
if I found just this morning, it popped up on my phone that Preheat magazine had a feature saying 45 ways to cook orzo.
Lord.
Who knew?
Uh,
So if you want to check it out, it's parade.com/orzo, and there's all
Wow.
kinds of recipes. Not just boil it like pasta, but you can bake it in the oven to toast it up a little bit. You get a nice nutty flavor to
Nuh-uh.
it. It's terrific.
Wow.
And it goes with everything from seafood to pork to chicken and lots of recipes. A lot of them like this that are summertime related that you can just get them in because there's no mayonnaise. You can leave them out on the, just enjoy
yeah,
it
that's a good
outside.
idea.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of it leans itself towards hot dishes and cold dishes
Yes.
at the same time, so you can use it for both.
Yep.
That's good to
Yeah,
know.
It's good. It's terrific. It's very easy, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to have feta join the party.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing about feta these days, now if you looked at Ina's recipe, she takes a block of it and cuts it up.
Of course.
We now have both blue cheese and feta that are already crumbled. It's a lovely, wonderful,
Life is so good.
yes. So you just get
Oh
it.
my gosh, I love this. The
Yeah.
color, it looks really refreshing. It'd be great to bring to an event.
A picnic.
Oh
This
my
is a
gosh.
picnic favorite
Definitely.
because it's got the crunch from the scallions and onions and the cucumbers, and it's got the tanginess of the feta.
Oh yeah.
Just terrific.
You know, I've gone out to eat a couple of times lately, and the prices at restaurants have really gotten expensive. So having something new to cook makes it a little bit more exciting to stay home sometimes, you know. But this looks
Well, you
lovely.
can, like, we're doing shrimp, and like I said, I know shrimp is expensive, but you get it on sale, throw it in your freezer, but it goes very, very well as a side dish with charcoal or barbecue chicken,
Oh, yeah.
steak, I mean,
Oh,
all kinds of
yeah.
stuff. I mean, you could actually do another version of this, leaving out the cucumber and just mixing it up if you like blue cheese crumbles. You could do that,
Ooh,
and then add some tomatoes.
And this could be vegetarian
Oh,
without
absolutely.
any kind
Yep.
of meat.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Very versatile. We
Wow.
love Ina.
Yeah,
she does
she-
she does really simple things, and she does them well.
She really does. She does. Well, that looks delicious. Well, I am so sad that I missed Shred Day. I
Oh,
cannot
sorry.
tell you, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll
we
build up.
it was from 9 to 11. We actually had 2 or 3 cars pull up. Just the truck was pulling out. I said sorry.
Oh,
He
no.
stayed around till quarter after 11, but it was a great event. Lots of fun, and like I said, a lot of people just like you that said, "Oh, I've been sitting on this stuff for years."
It's so true. And going back to the playground too, I went to a fundraiser tea that Brenda Aloisi had, and it was just really lovely. It was like a high tea, like, you know, British tea. And one of the ladies there donated enough money to for a bench at the playground. And I love a bench. There's 99 problems, and the bench ain't one. You know, I just love a bench, and that was a great idea.
Yep.
So
Well, we had you may have seen in the Lake News and on NBC 29 that we have an awful lot of donations, but the first significant one was $11,000 from, I forget his name now. He's an orthodontist.
Oh no, I don't know the
Yeah,
orthodontist.
he was a dentist or orthodontist that had Judy and her husband put braces on them, got their
yeah,
teeth all straightened out.
yes,
He
yes.
donated $11,000 because he has a special needs child
Oh,
himself.
how lovely! That's very nice of
So
him.
so far
And
we've
Albert, the State Farm guy
Yes.
here, he donated some money
State
for
Farm
it too.
and Charlottesville Realty Company also supplied $2,500, pretty significant donation. Now we had another one that was lined up that State Farm Insurance, the corporate, not the local guys, they were having they had an event for their 100th anniversary this year.
Oh Oh, yeah.
And so they every year they do events.
Uh-huh. Oh, man. They look perfect.
Perfect shrimp every time.
Yeah. 6 minutes.
Yep.
6 minutes.
6 minutes at 400.
Let's see if we can't put, here, let's put this right on there. There you go. Wow, that's beautiful. That did work out really
yeah,
well.
Yeah. All right, so we're just going to let this
Smells good,
cool
too.
just a minute.
Okay.
But so State Farm has been doing, it's called a Neighborhood Assist Program for
Okay.
years. And they would take, I think, 50 entrants, and you would have to apply for a grant. Well, this year, because it's their 100th anniversary, they doubled it up to 100. And we were hoping to make the top 200 so that we could start asking people to help out with the voting process. Unfortunately, we didn't make the cut.
Oh, that's
So
a
that
shame.
means we're going to have to really rev up our campaign for donations and for funding. So you'll see
How far have y'all gotten to your goal?
we're about $66,000. We're about 2/3 of the way there.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
yeah.
So,
So-
just a little bit further.
So we'll have,
That's
we
great.
just ordered a couple of pieces of equipment that should be arriving, with some luck without any supply chain problems.
Yeah, oh, that
And,
is a problem, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. You know, you could even split it so that you could have some with the shrimp and then some as a vegetarian, you know, because,
this is a really big, I mean, this will serve 6 to 8.
wow.
Yeah. So this is
a
really
lot.
good for a crowd, but it's a good idea to split it and you have 2 dishes.
Yeah, because not a lot of times you think about vegetarians, and
Right.
there's quite a few at the lake that would appreciate it, so that's nice. Yeah.
Okay, so now, pièce de résistance, as they say.
Wow. That looks good. I'll take this for you.
Thank you. And like I said before, we put all this stuff together. The Orzo cooks up and fluffs up, and before you know it, the whole bowl is full.
Oh,
Full of
whoa,
really good
look
stuff.
at that. Oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful and colorful. Oh, I can see where if you were at a picnic, you would really like
Oh, this
wouldn't
goes.
it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I was going to just make half the recipe, and I thought, well, let's follow the recipe that it was. And I'm glad I did, because you pointed out we can split it in half and make it into 2 different dishes.
Yes, that's wonderful. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to dive in. Let's try it, okay?
Okay, all right.
Let me get a spoon. Hold on just a minute. Here you are.
Okay. Get a piece of shrimp. Now, these are the really big shrimp.
Really
so,
big.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I have
So
a big mouth, so that's all
Yeah,
right.
you and me both. And as Ina would say, how easy is that?
That is very easy, and that's, you know, what we're looking for at Cooking at the Lake, is an easy recipe. And you have accomplished that. That was delicious. I love it. Thank you for joining us
Well,
today.
thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And if you would like to share an easy recipe with Cooking at the Lake, you can email me at maryjanewarner2501@gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.